3-game series. Cubs trying to even up this set against the Astros after a 5-3 loss last night. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. A 3-4 start to this very crucial homestand for the Cubs, and I think the Cubs are just happy to see August in the books.
You know, Len, we're at that point of the season where you start to look back and say, what if we'd have won a few more games in that series? What if we'd have won a few more in that series? Well, certainly the month of August was one of those times where the Cubs, I think, are going to look back and say, geez, we had opportunities. If we could have won a few more games, we could avoid that sense of urgency that we have right now in September.
And the Cubs need to find a way to keep Carlos Lee at bay. 4 RBIs last night.
You know, he's kind of like a junkyard dog that's chained up to a building. You know how close you can go to that strike zone, and if you cross that borderline, the dog's going to get you. Carlos Lee is just absolutely crushing everything that's in the strike zone over the plate, as he's done throughout his career against the Cubs.
Yeah, 20 career home runs here at Wrigley Field in just 53 games with several different teams. Doesn't matter what uniform he's wearing, he does a lot of damage here. But nobody's done damage against Randy Wells in this Astros lineup this season.
He's done a real good job, period, this season, but especially against the Houston Astros. He spotted a mechanical flaw in his delivery last time out where he struggled a little bit against the Washington Nationals. Hopefully he'll get that sinker going again tonight.
14 innings, no runs allowed against the Astros for Randy Wells. For Brian Moeller, an ERA of almost 14 against the Cubs. So it's the middle game of this series. Coming up, we'll have the lineups, and you might want to grab a scorecard tonight with the September call-ups in uniform. We'll be back with Cubs baseball in a moment.
Everything.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines is ready when you are. Go to Southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
You're watching the Chicago Cubs on WGN-TV, your official summer baseball station. Cubs baseball in high definition is sponsored by Comcast. Rookie of the Year candidate Randy Wells looks for his team-leading 10th win tonight. And he has not allowed a run all year. A couple of starts against the Houston Astros. Let's look at how they line up offensively. Michael Bourne is in center. 10-game hitting streak, the longest of his career. Tejada, Berkman, Lee. We mentioned the big night for the Astros left fielder. Blum, Pence, Matsui gets his first start of the set. Coast and Moeller will make up their battery.
And let's take a look at how the Cubs will take the field defensively tonight behind Randy Wells. Brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, refresh everything. Good to see Alfonso Soriano back in the lineup. Jake Fox was in the original lineup, but Soriano apparently passed all the tests. And he'll be playing left field tonight. Fukudome in center, Bradley over in right. Ramirez, Terrio, Baker, Lee across the infield for the Cubs. Coy Hill doing the catching tonight for right-hander Randy Wells. I mentioned his numbers against the Astros this year. 6 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball first time he faced him. The second time he faced him, 8 innings of 6-hit shutout baseball.
Set the umpires for you. Chuck Merriweather will call the balls and strikes. This is his 18th year, born in Nashville, Tennessee. Laz Diaz at first, Eric Cooper at second. The crew chief, Mike Riley, is at third. The leader of the new Cubs ownership group in attendance, Tom Ricketts. And reportedly the deal will be done, or should be done, right around the World Series. Needs to be approved by the rest of the owners in baseball. He's got a pretty good seat tonight.
He must know somebody.
He must. Great to see Tom Ricketts here as Randy Wells deals and Bourne lays down a bunt. It's still fair and it stays fair. Right on the paint. So a first pitch bunt single to start it, and Bourne with an 11-game hitting streak. That's how we get started tonight.
His 15th bunt base hit of the season. Yeah, really, Michael Bourne should not catch you by surprise bunting for a base hit. Ramos Ramirez probably should have been playing a little shallower. Randy Wells should have gotten off the mound a little quicker. Coy Hill should have gotten out of the chute a little faster. That's a big, big part of Michael Bourne's offense.
So just like that, Randy Wells will have to work from the stretch against Miguel Tejada, who hit 5th last night, batting 2nd tonight.
He's not your prototypical number 2 hitter because he is so aggressive. He rarely takes pitches. He likes to hack at anything close to that strike zone. Usually that number 2 hitter is a guy that's willing to take a few pitches and give that leadoff hitter an opportunity to steal a base.
Bourne looks anxious at first, leading the league with a career high 48 steals. And he's normally successful when he does run. He leads the league in steals, infield hits, tied for first in triples. There he goes, a called strike, and the throw is late. The first wave of call-ups here on September 1. Andres Blanco reinstated from the disabled list. He had a strained left calf. Michael Hoffpower and right-hander Justin Berg recalled from AAA Iowa. Micah hit a home run yesterday in his final game with the I-Cubs. So they're back. David Patton, rookie right-hander, will be here tomorrow, and then maybe 2 or 3 more after that. Pretty good bet you'll see Jeff Samardzija back here at some point. Bobby Scales, pretty good chance he'll be back as well. And all the names that we've heard are guys who've been here for at least one previous major league stint. The kick in the 1-1 is low. 2 balls and a strike. In terms of what the Astros have done, they brought back 3 veterans from the DL. Doug Brocail, who had a strained right shoulder. Left-hander Wesley Wright, who had a strained left shoulder. And a great story, Aaron Boone, the infielder, activated from the 60-day DL. He had open heart surgery in late March. And I think he wondered, and a lot of others wondered, if his career might be over. I know you know Aaron Boone pretty well, one of the good guys in the game, and a very scary situation in spring training, but hopefully we'll see him in action here over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I really thought Aaron Boone was going to be a major contributor to this Astros ball club this year. He is a dead pull hitter, and as we know down in Houston at Minute Maid Park, dead pull hitters from the right side of the plate can hit lots of home runs.
Taking some BP before the game, and I'm sure his manager would like to get him in there as soon as possible. He had a congenital defect in an aortic valve that was corrected. The 2-2 on the way. A ground ball right side, moving Bourne to third with one out as Baker throws out Tejada.
You know, Aaron Boone should have a T-shirt that said, "I had open heart surgery and all I got was this lousy 10-inch scar down the middle of my chest."
You think you could fit that on a T-shirt?
I mean, it's one thing to come back from a pulled hamstring or a sore elbow or a broken finger, but to come back from open heart surgery, he really is to be commended. A lot of hard work, lost 15 pounds in the process.
One strike on Lance Berkman. He's stuck on 18 home runs. Went the entire month of August without a homer. Although, in fairness, he was on the DL for the first third of the month. The 0-1 from Wells is hit foul off to the left, 0-2. Berkman, Pudge Rodriguez, who's now with the Rangers, and Carlos Lee all hitting milestone home runs this year. Their 300th career homer, and the Astros, the first team ever to have three players get to 300 in the same season. You had the White Sox earlier this year in back-to-back at-bats. Jermaine Dye and Paul Konerko hit their 300th.
Well, the Astros, Berkman, the only homegrown Astro to accomplish that feat this year. Of course, Pudge Rodriguez has played for several different teams, as has Carlos Lee. Still pretty amazing to have three guys in one lineup do it in the same season.
Inside 2-2 to Berkman. Well, I guess if you were a GM and you just wanted to keep breaking the record, you just sign a bunch of guys who have 290 homers. Although you probably wouldn't be the GM for very long.
Probably not. Well, without looking, I would guess there aren't a whole lot of guys in the 290s.
No. Coy Hill with an equipment check. Well, let's see. The Cubs actually have some guys who aren't that far away. Alfonso Soriano has 290 right on the button. Derek Lee 284. And let's see. Aramis Ramirez has 260. So there you go. Swing and a miss. A big strikeout for Wells. Still not out of it. He has to face Carlos Lee. And he's given himself a chance to avoid any runs.
From our Southwest Sky Cam, good slider down and in underneath the bat of Lance Berkman. And this is the quality we like so much in Randy Wells when he first got to the major leagues with the Cubs. When he did find himself in jams, he always seemed to be able to wiggle out of them. This is going to be a tough wiggle out here against Carlos Lee with 2 outs and a runner at third.
And this could be the unintentional intentional walk. Jeff Blum on deck is 4 for his last 27. So while they're not going to simply intentionally walk Lee, I don't think Randy's going to give him too much to hit. Look at how far outside Coy Hill is. Good block. That pitch right there, though, might make me think about intentionally walking him, especially with Bourne at third. Anything that gets away from Coy Hill, and you know Bourne's going to try to score.
I think this is a sign of how much confidence Larry Rothschild and Lou Piniella have in Randy Wells' ability to pitch around a good major league hitter like Carlos Lee.
Caught the corner, 2-1.
With a lot of young pitchers, you just hold up 4 fingers and send him on down to first base. You don't want to risk a mistake or a wild pitch, as you said, to allow that run to score from third base. But apparently they have faith that Randy Wells can execute the pitches he needs to either nibble at the edge of the zone or go ahead and walk Carlos Lee.
Soriano in left. And a big sigh of relief from Cub fans everywhere as Lee just got under it. Wells escapes. Bourne stranded at third, and the Cubs are coming up. Basically 1 through 8, it's the same as last night, with the lone exception being that 6th spot. Soriano with his first start in 4 games.
Take a look at the Astros defensively tonight. Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, Hunter Pence once again across the outfield tonight. Jeff Blum at third. Miguel Tejada at shortstop. This Astros ball club third in the National League in turning double plays. His double play partner tonight is Kaz Matsui over at second base. Lance Berkman at first. Chris Coast doing the catching once again tonight for right-hander Brian Moeller. The lofty opponent's batting average just under 300, 150 hits surrendered in 125 innings. Doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't walk a lot.
In 3 starts against the Cubs, he has a 13.97 ERA this year. The lowest his overall ERA has been all season, 5.02. That was on July 20th. Terrio pops it into right for Hunter Pence. He puts it away, 1 out. Pretty interesting stuff from the Cubs manager in the pregame media session about a season that so far has been pretty disappointing. Cubs are 1 game over 500, way back in the division, in 5th in the wild card, and Lou pointed to the offense. They're going to score a lot fewer runs than they did last year, and I think, Bob, as Lou mentioned, they're on pace to score like 160, 170 fewer runs than last season, which works out to be about a run per game. That's pretty significant. The 0-1 pitch is inside, so we can talk about chemistry and all those intangibles all we want, and those things may have played into how this team has played, but Lou's point is we haven't scored as much as we did last year, and he's right.
Yeah, chemistry is a very touchy subject. You know, there have been a lot of teams throughout baseball history that didn't get along. I mean, quite frankly, they didn't like each other. But their skill set on the field meshed very well with each other as teammates between the white lines, and that's the most important thing, the chemistry that you have as a unit on the field.
Bradley bounces to Berkman, and Moeller's over to cover. 2 outs.
I mean, sure, it'd be a nice bonus if you had a good team and you were playing well and everybody was playing up to their capabilities. And on top of it, they all got along. They all liked each other. They all enjoyed each other's company, because certainly it helps over the course of a 6-month baseball season and 6 weeks in spring training and ideally the postseason. But it's not necessary to like each other to have a good ball club.
Derek Lee with 2 outs. You and I get asked a lot by fans and in radio interviews and the like, what's it like in the clubhouse, or what's it like on the plane? Ground ball to short. I think people are kind of disappointed when we tell them it's always the same, whether you've won 10 in a row or lost 10 in a row. Those moments really don't stand out that much. After 1, 0-0. Jeff Blum takes strike 1 as we play the 2nd inning. Another gorgeous evening, 64 degrees. The wind is out of the east at 5. Or the northeast, but blowing in. Wells with an 0-2, that's low. The Astros put the leadoff man on in the opening inning and got him all the way to 3rd with 1 out, but could not score. And that's punched into the gap in right center. It'll be cut off by Bradley as Blum leads off the inning with a single. And let's check out who's moving forward with Toyota. A little over a month to go, and we'll keep a close watch on the Rookie of the Year race in the National League. It's not an exhaustive list, but just some of the top candidates. You'd have to say left-hander Jay Happ might have the edge right now. Garrett Jones hasn't even been in the majors that long. Andrew McCutchen coming off an excellent month of August. Jake Fox at 286 with 10 homers and 39 knocked in. We'll get some consideration as well. Cubs do not have a 10-game winner on their staff. Wells trying to become the first as he deals a strike to Pence 1-1. And if he can get his 10th win, he'll be the first Cubs rookie to reach double digits and win since Kerry Wood won 13 games back in 1998. He went on to win the Rookie of the Year. Double play ball. Terrio, Baker, Lee.
That's just how you draw it up. A hard hit ground ball a little bit to your shortstop's left. That leads him right to the bag, and the underhand toss to the second baseman Baker. And even the speedy Pence is thrown out by a step and a half at first base. TaylorMade.
Let's see, switch hitting Kaz Matsui. Called strike. Fukudome underneath, and a quick inning for Wells. Leadoff single, no runs. Midway in the second, no score.
As the Cubs battle the Astros at 120, the first 10,000 fans will receive a 3-a-day smoothie cup, compliments of Midwest Dairy.
Aramis Ramirez will lead it off for the Cubs against Brian Moeller. Just missed the outside corner. Last night, Aramis snapped an 8-game hitting streak and an 18-gamer at home. The giveaway tonight, a baseball bingo card, which is kind of fun, and we each received one. Basically, you got to fill out the entire card, and you can win a prize. I've already checked off one, the center fielder putout.
I've got 4 so far, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get some of these. I need a fair ball to get caught in the ivy at some point tonight.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. Runner in scoring position. I've got that one checked. As Ramirez, it's a high pop. Matsui will make the catch. Got the stolen base. Yeah, I got a bunch of them too. There's Kosuke. Hit 287 in August. Been a nice comeback year for Fukudome after really fading badly in the second half of his rookie campaign. The wind of the pitch, low and outside. Last night, Roy Oswalt was really good. 7 innings, just 2 runs allowed. He made headlines recently saying there was a dead atmosphere around the Astros team, and that made some headlines, but he came out in his next start and had one of his best outings of the year. Moeller ready for a 1-2. Hit foul. Boy, busy night last night. We talked about it during the game. Was a key night with the postseason roster eligibility deadline, and right before the clock struck midnight, the White Sox dealt away Jose Contreras to the Rockies, Jim Thome to the Dodgers, who also got John Garland from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Garland simply walked from one clubhouse to the other as the Diamondbacks were playing the Dodgers. He's going to start against them on Thursday. Chris Coast in foul territory makes the catch. Dodgers have been busy. Ronnie Belliard also recently acquired.
Well, they've stretched their lead in that Western Division back to 5.5 games going into play tonight, but a few reinforcements at the very last minute never hurt anything. Not sure exactly how Jim Thome fits into the grand scheme of things over there. James Loney is their everyday first baseman for the Dodgers and is having a pretty solid year, but it's a nice left-handed bat to have off the bench late in the ball game.
Soriano back in the lineup. Broke out of a bad slump on Friday with 3 hits, a walk, and had a game-winning 3-run homer in the 8th inning against the Mets. But his left knee bothering him, so he had the MRI on Saturday that showed some inflammation. Got a cortisone shot Sunday, and this is his first action since Friday. And he's hit 7 of his 20 home runs against the Astros this year. He led off the 2009 season with a home run in Houston.
Those cortisone shots are a funny thing, Len. I've had a number of them throughout the course of my career in different body parts, and obviously they can be tremendously helpful. If you hit the spot, cool down the inflammation that you have going on in there, a guy can come back as if he was never injured to begin with.
It's a slicing liner, Pence back on it, makes the over the shoulder catch, and that ends the inning. Cubs have gone down in order in each of the first 2 innings, 0-0. leadoff singles, in fact, in the first and second innings. It'll be the number 8 man, the catcher, Chris Coast, who hits it foul over the backstop and up into the upper deck. Coast acquired on waivers from the Phillies on July 10th. The Cubs reportedly had an interest in Coast around that time. Two and one the count. Ground ball, kicks past Ramirez. Might have taken a little bit of a squirrely hop. It was hit hard. We'll see how it's scored. It's a single for Coast.
All right, down the middle of the plate, about belt high to Chris Coast. Hits that hard topspin grounder. You see Ramirez looking back at the spot where that ball took that last bad hop and got by him into left field.
Mueller squares and takes it low. This is where the baseball bingo gets a little tricky. I mean, I don't want Mueller to come through, but I do need a sacrifice bunt. So maybe he can pop out, and then Randy Wells can lay down a sac bunt later. That's the trouble with those fantasy leagues sometimes. Fans play a rotisserie baseball, and then they get in that situation where your pitcher is facing the team you root for. Then what do? You
got to go with the team you root for, depending on how much money the championship in your fantasy league is worth.
1-2 on Mueller. Infield still expecting him to try to lay down a bunt. He is squaring, and he strikes out.
Mueller showing his frustration, just stabbed at that ball, actually lost the top hand on the bat. Just tried to reach across the plate, put that ball in play. Came up empty. That'll be recorded as a strikeout.
You know what? I needed a strikeout, so that works too.
There you go.
Bourne takes ball one. Bunt single to start the game, then stole second, moved to third on a ground out, and was stranded there.
See, my bingo card has one: fan tosses home run ball onto field. Well, that would mean that the Astros would hit a home run. So I don't want to fill my card tonight.
2-1. Tie atop the wild card in the NL going into play tonight. San Francisco's in Philadelphia, and the Phillies lead 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th. It's a really good pitchers duel between lefties Jonathan Sanchez and Cole Hamels. Down the left field line, Soriano going after it. It's fair, just fair. Coast holding at second base. It's a bloop single for Michael Bourne.
That ball was going to slice foul. Just a little bit of wind blowing straight in from center field. Looked like it was pushing that ball toward foul territory, but it hit right on the chalk down there near the Cubs bullpen. In a strange way, it's a good thing Chris Coast is on base ahead of Michael Bourne. He's a little bit of a beaver dam ahead of the speedy Michael Bourne.
You're saying Chris can't coast.
That's exactly right.
Ball one to Miguel Tejada. Well, we mentioned last night he doesn't strike out a whole lot, and what did he do? He struck out 3 times, went 1 for 4. Cubs would like another double play here. They got one in the second. 2-0. Well, Randy was pretty critical of himself after his last start, a 5-4 loss against Washington. You mentioned the mechanical issues. Tied a career high by allowing 5 earned runs. Gave up 2 homers. That's caught by Wells, and he can just run it over to first base. He'll flip to Derek Lee as they double off Michael Bourne. That works. Bottom 3, no score. Cubs fans, don't forget to visit the WGN Sports Game Zone at WGNTV.com. Brought to you by The Great Escape for up-to-the-minute stats and information designed to give you everything you need to know during the game. The WGN Sports Game Zone is available for every Cubs game and is brought to you by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
We're big fans of more.
Well, the Astros keep putting the leadoff man on base and continue to be baffled by Randy Wells. He has now dealt 17 shutout innings against them this season. Jeff Baker with his first crack at Brian Moeller tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Rockies are hosting the Mets tonight. And they are just underway. Top of the first, no score. Mike Pelfrey against Jorge De La Rosa. Shallow left center. Tejada's out. Can't catch it. It's a hit for Baker.
Jeff Baker had been 0 for 3 against Brian Moeller in their respective careers. This little broken bat single gets him off to Schneid and gives the Cubs the leadoff runner here in the bottom half of the third.
Catcher Coy Hill, who is planning a charity event in the offseason. We hope to have some more details before the regular season's over. It's going to be in December, and it'll benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I mentioned that Samuel Jansen at the game tonight, coordinated through the Make-A-Wish. Sam's 10th birthday, and as part of his wish, he was scheduled to meet with Giovanni Soto prior to the game. Watch BP. That's slicing into the left field corner, foul. 0-2 on Hill.
Well, we talk so much about a pitcher's record against an opponent or his record on the season. Well, Coy Hill's got a real good record, not only this season, but in his time here with the Cubs. He's 33-22 this season when he started a game behind the plate. It's 11 games over 500, 20 games over for his career with the Cubs.
Give that kid a contract. Outside, 2-2. On top of the world.
He can't wait to get outside and play with that baseball.
Broken bat grounder. Matsui, Tejada, Berkman, double play.
I mentioned the Astros were third in the National League in double plays this year. Bat shatters in the hands of Coy Hill, hits that grounder right to Matsui at second base. Quick pivot to Miguel Tejada and his strong throw on to first in plenty of time to get Coy Hill.
Outside corner to Wells.
That double play stat can be a little misleading because usually it's teams that are at the bottom of their divisions that are leading, or rather the pitching staffs that are at the bottom of their division that lead in double plays. The Pittsburgh Pirates lead the National League with 140 double plays going into play tonight. We know they've had some issues with their pitching staff this season. The St. Louis Cardinals, however, are ranked second in the National League with 138 double plays.
Well, you wouldn't know it by what's happened early on in this series, but the Astros finishing August with a 5.17 ERA. That was their highest August ERA in team history. But Oswalt was excellent last night. Moeller's been very good so far this evening.
Now, Brian Moeller's all about command. If he can keep his fastball out of the middle of the plate, he's got a sinker, a cutter, a slider. Doesn't really change speeds a whole lot, but if he's hitting his spots and keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate, he can be effective. Unfortunately for him and the Astros, he's made a lot of mistakes over the middle of the plate this year.
Sharply hit grounder behind second. It's Tejada to throw out Wells. First time through the order, just one single against Moeller. A score after 3. Time now for a look at our high-def shot of the game, sponsored by Comcast. Beautiful horizon as the sun sets.
Orange sherbet.
Cubs baseball in high definition is sponsored by Comcast. We've hit the month of September. The season's not going to end until October 4th. So a little later than usual, and I believe, Bob, if the World Series goes 7, we'll end in November.
And I, for one, am rooting that does not happen. Because our World Series in 2001 was the first and only to run into November, and I'd like it to stay that way.
Berkman pops it up, and Ramirez drifts out, makes a grab in the outfield grass for the out. Brings up Carlos Lee for the second time. He flied out to left to end the top of the first. Milwaukee with a 3 spot on a Casey McGee 3-run homer off Joel Pinheiro. So they lead at St. Louis 3-0 in the top of the third. Carlos Lee showing bunt. Let him do it.
Go ahead.
Cubs are begging him to lay down a bunt. 0-2. So 20 career homers here at Wrigley Field for Carlos Lee. That is a record for the fewest games needed to get to 20 homers here strictly as a visiting player. The other guy who got to 20 homers in 53 games was Dave Kingman. But 2 of those came as a Cub. Bradley the catch, 2 outs.
Hey fans, this Thursday is Valspar Day as the Cubs host the White Sox at 1:20. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs t-shirt, and fans will have a chance to win autographed baseballs every inning. Fans will also be able to enter for a chance to paint with a Cubs player at an upcoming Habitat for Humanity project. Show your true colors on Valspar Day at Wrigley Field.
Inside corner and a strike to Blum. He is 2 for 2. It's a high five from Jose Cruz Sr. I wish Jose, wore his pant bottoms like he did when he played. He's gotten with the times.
Yeah, he used to wear them like the current hitter Hunter Pence wears his pants, right underneath the kneecaps there. The long stirrup socks back in the day when players wore stirrups.
He had a big leg kick, didn't he, in his stance when he got ready to hit?
Oh yeah. And with 2 strikes playing in that Astrodome, he had an uncanny ability to pound the ball either off of home plate or the hard dirt right in front of home plate and beat it out for an infield hit. We used to call it chop chop.
One and one on Pence. He won't do what he did in his first at bat. That's a guarantee. You can't say that very often. He won't hit into a double play. When you're going bad, I guess that's one positive way to look at a bat like this. At least I won't hit into another double play.
I can only make 1 out this at bat. I've had that frame of mind before.
The 2-1. Now 3-1. We asked.
There you go.
And now we receive it. And the big leg kick from Jose Cruz Sr. Mark Stencil all over it in the production truck. The white shoes.
The Houston Astrodome.
Good swing by Pence. Just got a piece of it. 3-2.
Now the joke used to be the Astrodome was called the 8th wonder of the world. because you wonder why they ever built it. It's great for demolition derbies and rodeos. And not so great for baseball.
The Oilers played there. Blum goes on the 3-2. It's taken for ball 4, and the first walk given up by Wells. So now he'll face Matsui, who has 2,009 hits when you combine his numbers in Japan and in the majors. That puts him in the I hope I get this right. Meikyukai. Oh, I just butchered it. Meikyukai. No idea how to pronounce it. It's called the Golden Players Club. 2,000 hits puts you in that club. Pronounce it correctly.
Kaz Matsui and Kosuke Fukudome both owe a debt of gratitude, because on this day in baseball history in 1964, Masanori Murakami became the first Japanese-born player to play in the major leagues.
It's a good on this date.
Threw a scoreless inning against the Mets for the San Francisco Giants. Murakami still comes to spring training every year down in Scottsdale, Arizona with the Giants. As recently as just a few years ago, he used to suit up in uniform for a couple days and go out and help participate in the pitchers' drills.
The kick, the 1-1. That's slapped foul the other way, 1-2. Well, when Matsui got that 2,000th hit in Milwaukee, his former manager in Japan was on hand, and he got a commemorative sport coat. So if you get 2,000 hits, 200 wins, or 250 saves in Japan, the majors are a combination of both. You can join that club.
So do you need another 2,000 hits to get the trousers to go along with the sports coat?
Hideo Nomo, Hideki Matsui, Ichiro, and Kaz Sasaki are also in that elite club. Well set at the belt. Quick look at Blum at second, and the pitch struck him out. So the Astros have stranded 4 through 4. The Cubs are coming back on offense, top of the order in a scoreless tie.
Playing the House of Blues this Friday, September 4th, brought to you by Bud Light. Tickets are available exclusively at Ticketmaster.com.
Ontario bounces and Tejada throws him out.
That's ZZ Top this Friday, brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, the difference is drinkability. It's ironic we're playing Jesus Just Left Chicago and he's bound for New Orleans as Ryan Theriot grounds out to start the inning for the Cubs.
Louisiana native.
I don't know if that's irony or just a coincidence.
I think it would be coincidence, now that I think about it. Brian Moeller was born in Rockingham, North Carolina. Went to UNC Greensboro, and the Tigers took him in the 6th round of the '93 draft. He won the Tigers' final game ever at Tiger Stadium back in 1999. Outside 1-2 on Milton Bradley. Bradley's had an excellent homestand. I mean, was red hot. Has cooled off, however, in this series. 0 for 5 to start it. 2-2. He went 7 for 9 against the Mets and had 5 hits in that Washington series. That's deep to right for Milton Bradley, and it's gonna go. Wind not really a factor tonight, and the Cubs have the lead on his 12th home run. Only the 2nd hit tonight for the Cubs. Good to see him turn on one from the left side of the plate and drive it out.
I was just thinking the same thing, Len. That's a similar pitch that he would have broken his bat on a month ago, but he worked really hard in the cage with Von Joshua, made some mechanical adjustments. Our Southwest, how far did it fly? 357 feet into the right field corner. Yeah, early in the season, teams were just pounding Milton inside. He was breaking his bat, hitting a lot of easy grounders to the right side, but more recently, he's been getting the barrel of the bat on that inside fastball.
Fastball in there against Derek Lee, 2-1. Derek homered last night. Pence coming over, and he has it. 2 outs. Cubs fans, when you're at Wrigley, make sure to buy a bottle of ice cold Pepsi or Diet Pepsi from a vendor. Then check for the Cubs win sticker under the bottle for your chance to win an overnight stay at the Abbey Resort and Avani Spa on Lake Geneva at Fontana, Wisconsin. Make sure to buy from your Pepsi vendor for your chance to win with Pepsi and the Abbey Resort. Well placed for strike 1 to Ramirez.
You know, the funny thing about that Milton Bradley home run, if you ask Brian Moeller, I bet he executed the pitch exactly the way he wanted to. Right? We talked about how teams had been attacking Milton inside with hard stuff, either four-seam fastballs or cutters inside, trying to jam him in on the hands, and for most of the season they were able to do that. Moeller made it what appeared to be a pretty good pitch just off the inside corner of the plate, but Bradley was able to get to it this time.
Another fly to right. Pence looking back and in the middle of the track. He'll haul it in. Milton Bradley with a go-ahead home run, and the Cubs lead 1-0. Chris Coast swings at the first offering of the 5th inning from Randy Wells, and Derek Lee makes a grab for the first out. Now time for the 5th inning, brought to you by Subway. Hey, Chicagoland viewers, how would you like to win 5 $5 footlongs from Subway? Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. The pitcher Moeller with 1 out. Fastball is in there for a strike. Randy Wells has been very consistent this season in terms of his month-to-month ERA. The highest ERA he's had in any month, 3.69 in August. So I mean, that tells you how good he's been all year. Terrio throws out Moeller, 2 quick outs. And he didn't even make his first start with the Cubs until May 8th. Spent the first month at AAA.
Well, it seems like every year there's somebody, or maybe a couple of somebodies, that come out of nowhere. It's not really like Randy Wells was a total unknown, but I don't think anybody in the Cubs organization anticipated that he was going to be pitching in the major leagues this year, let alone pitching as effectively as he has.
Well, he had the stress fracture in his forearm right at the end of last year, and I think that definitely set him back in terms of going into spring training and really competing for a spot in the big league club. He went 19 1/3 innings to start his career without allowing a run. 18 1/3 with the Cubs. His major league debut came with the Toronto Blue Jays last season. Almost kicked it. Terrio spins and throws it away. Michael Bourne with an infield hit. I think in the future Ryan probably won't even make that throw. Once it got by the pitcher, there's no chance to get Bourne. He's 3 for 3.
You got to know the strengths and weaknesses of your opposition, and once Ryan Terrio had to go that many steps up the middle of the field, there is no way you're going to throw Michael Bourne out at first base. Jose Cruz had to get out of the way of that errant throw. Fortunately for the Cubs, it hit the facing of the dugout and stayed in play.
Tejada with Bourne on. And again, he'll probably be looking to run. Not this time, however. Called strike.
That's a big pitch in the sequence. If Lou has any thoughts about pitching out with Michael Bourne over there at first base, it's so important to get ahead of that hitter that follows Michael Bourne. Now it gives you the option to waste a pitch on a pitch out if you think Bourne is going to be running.
Past Wells, who kind of let it go. Terry will pick it up and throw out Tejada. They leave one halfway home. Cubs 1, Astros 0.
Baseball season on WGN, your official summer baseball station, is brought to you by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
Great to have you with us tonight. 1-0 Cubs, bottom 5. Milton Bradley with a homer in the 4th. Otherwise, Brian Moeller's pitched extremely well. He's had a tough year. 1 strike to Kosuke Fukudome. Inside 1-1. Hanging out in the scoreboard. Is there an update? We have an update in Philadelphia. Giants didn't score in the 8th. The 2-1 called a strike, 2-2. I would think most home plate umpires, Chuck Merriweather tonight, would tell you this is the kind of night they love. Starting pitchers who are right around the strike zone. Makes their job a lot easier. That's Suey, a little underhand. Only 1 walk combined.
I think all umpires like strike throwers because it gets the offenses to swing the bat. You don't see a lot of base on balls, a lot of slow developing innings. Batters come up to the plate knowing that opposing pitcher's throwing strikes, and they're ready to hack.
A lot of focus on the face of Randy Wells. Inside to Soriano. Ted Lilly will pitch tomorrow against right-hander Felipe Paulino, and a great honor for Ted. He has won the Roberto Clemente Award. He's the Cubs recipient. Base hit, right center. Soriano's on. And Ted with a chance to win the main award. One of the 30 recipients from around baseball will receive the 2009 Roberto Clemente Award. That's a community service award, and it's one, Bob, that every player strives for. I mean, you don't do community work to win that award, but what it tells you is that it's reflective of the work Ted Lilly does in the community. And he's really proud of it. He should be. Works very closely with Cubs Care and Cubs designated charities.
You know, Len, as much as fans would like it to be so, it is not required for players to get involved in community service and community outreach and going to the schools and the hospitals and doing those things on their off time that means so much to the people that are affected. But Cubs are very fortunate to have a number of players that get involved without being asked to.
Yeah, guys usually won't tell you, you know, I want to win the Cy Young or the MVP. I mean, they say I want to help the team win, but the Roberto Clemente Award is one everyone should say I want to win it, because that tells you they want to do more in the community. It's topped by Baker, and it's foul. Ted also helps raise awareness and attends fundraising events for Pause Chicago, city's largest no-kill humane organization, which focuses on alleviating the pet homelessness problem. He sponsored an RBI team through the Union League Boys and Girls Club. Going back to 2007, he has funded a charitable ticket program for disadvantaged youth. And he donated the $7,500 grant he received to Pause. So congrats to Ted. One and two to Baker. Soriano at first, one out. Cubs lead 1-0. That's away, 2-2. Hill on deck. And Tom Ricketts in attendance tonight, right near the Cubs dugout. Hit hard, but oh, he threw it away. That was as routine as it gets, but a little nonchalant there from Miguel Tejada. A throwing error on him. The inning should be over. Instead, they have him at first and third with still only one out.
That ball was hit so hard to Tejada at shortstop. I don't understand why he was in such a hurry to get rid of that ball to Kaz Matsui on two hops right to him. And Matsui was still a good 3 steps away from the bag at second when Tejada uncorked that awkward off-balance throw that got into shallow right field, allowing Soriano to move all the way around to third base. That's the kind of ground ball we talked about earlier in the game that you hope for. A hard hit grounder where it gives everybody involved in that double play just a little bit of extra time to make sure you make good throws, to make sure you step on the bag at second. Make it hurt. Well, I needed an error for my bingo card too. Way to go.
One strike on Coy Hill. A single and a big error. And a base hit. And it's 2-0. Again, this inning should be over. That's a big one.
Coy Hill continuing to swing a hot bat. A lot of his base hits recently have gone right back up the middle of the field. That one looked like it hit Moeller in the foot before scooting on into center field for a base hit and an RBI.
Dewey Robinson, the pitching coach, is out trying to settle down Moeller. They're not waving the towel. They're just, I don't know what they've got there. Cobwebs or
housekeeping.
Alan Trammell taking care of business there. The throw is going to go to first. Nice job, Randy. I needed that sac bunt on my bingo card. And I got an assist from the catcher. 2 for 1.
How about that?
Oh, and the Cubs have 2 in scoring position.
Well, the key to that sac bunt right there is the jump that Jeff Baker got at second base. That ball is dunked right out in front of home plate. That's an easy play for Chris Coste to come up firing to third base, but Jeff Baker got such a good jump at second. Coste did not have a play at third base. At least he didn't think it was a safe play to go to third, so the only out he can get is Randy Wells at first base.
Terrio with 2 in scoring position and 2 outs in the dirt, blocked nicely by Coste. The Cardinals have come back and tied the Brewers 3-3 as they play the 5th. Runs came in the 4th inning. One of them on Albert Pujols' 42nd home run. Just missed. 2-0. Bradley on deck. He hit the home run to give the Cubs the lead in the last inning. That one did catch the outside corner. Moeller's tried to paint that area all night. Terrio coming off back-to-back months in which he hit over 300. July and August he hit 306 both months. Seven homers in the first half. He has not hit one here in the second half. And through that brief power surge, last home run June 30th in Pittsburgh off Zach Duke. The 2-2 on the way. He took it for ball 3.
When Brian Moeller gets in a jam, he goes almost exclusively to that sinking fastball, that 2-seamer. As you said, trying to spot it on that outside corner. That's definitely his go-to pitch.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out Terrio to get out of it. But the Cubs get an unearned run to make it 2-0 after 5. Hill, an unearned run, making it 2-0. Randy Wells making it hold up to this point. Facing Berkman, Lee, and Blum. Miguel Tejada with an error to keep that inning alive. One ball, one strike on switch hitting Berkman. Bounced foul past Jose Cruz, has been dodging them all night. Wild throws and foul balls. How about Andy Pettit last night? Sent down the first 20 Orioles. An error broke up the perfect game. Eventually the no-hitter went away, but the Yankees won the game. As well as fans Berkman.
Nothing tricky. He just had two-seamer we talked about at the top of the show. He felt he was making some, or rather he made some mechanical alterations to his delivery to get a little more movement on that sinker. That's strike three to Berkman. A real good pitch. Started right in the middle of the plate, ended up out of the zone, low and away for a swinging strike.
Two quick ones. El Caballo. Good spot for that pitch.
That's a real good two-strike slider right there. You may ask yourself at home, well, it was in the dirt. How can it be a good pitch? Well, when you're ahead of a powerful swinging home run hitter 0-2, that's exactly what you want to do. Throw something that looks like a strike out of your hand but ends up out of the zone, especially down low, and hope that he'll chase it.
There's another one. Cubs could not contain Carlos Lee last night. He knocked in 4 of their 5 runs. And he is now 0 for 3 tonight. 2 down. Follow your team on your iPhone and iPod Touch with MLB.com. At Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Cubs.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase. Jeff Blum, who played for Lou Piniella in Tampa Bay. Ball 1. In his career with the Expos at the Major League level. Lines out to Lee. They go down in order. Bottom 6, Cubs 2, Astros nothing. At your Honda dealer, test drive a 2009 Honda Accord. Michael Bourne is 3 for 3, but the Astros still have not scored this year against Randy Wells. And Milton Bradley is coming up. Gave the Cubs the lead with a solo homer in the 4th inning. Just a gorgeous night. The Cubs trying to even up their mark on this homestand at 4-4, and that almost took off the head of the pitcher. Moeller just got out of the way of that screamer.
Watch out. Whoa. Well, you can see how little reaction time that pitcher has out there on the mound. He didn't really reach up his glove until that ball was past him.
Outside to D. Lee. Cubs are starting to square up Brian Moeller. Didn't make a lot of great contact in the first 3 innings. There's another deep one. Pence turning all the way around, and he dropped it. In and out of the glove. Bradley now racing for third. Lead is second. And the Cubs are in business. It's a double for Derek Lee.
We had Billy Williams in the booth last night, and he was talking about right field at Wrigley and how tough it is to play. The conditions wouldn't appear to be too bad tonight, but Hunter Pence got turned all the way around. He ultimately gets a glove on it, but just can't hang on. Bradley had to hold up. It looked like Pence was going to make the play. They've changed it now to an E9 rather than a double for Derek Lee. Boy, Pence has had all kinds of problems out there in right field in this series. Dropped a pop-up coming in last night. Staggered around on some fly balls at the warning track in right field and completely dropped that one off the bat of Derek Lee.
So a single and an error, and it's Ramirez, and the Astros play back. They just want to try to get an out and avoid a huge inning.
I needed that second error, partner.
2 errors is part of your...
Yeah, 2 or more errors in the ball game.
Well, I need bases loaded. My baseball bingo card. Fair ball gets caught in the eye, but we almost had that happen with Pence. And a base hit floated into center. Bradley scores. Lee's going to stop at third.
I'll tell you, the Cubs' approach against Brian Moeller tonight has been really good. A lot of hard hit balls to the opposite field and back up the middle. Coy Hill had an RBI single up the middle. Now Ramos Ramirez right back up the middle of the field to drive home a run.
Fukudome 0 for 2. Low for ball 1.
Now Moeller has not thrown Kosuke a strike on the inner half of the plate tonight. He's gone off the plate inside to set up the next sinker low and away. If Kosuke had that same opposite field approach we've seen from the right-handed hitters, he'd probably get something that he could drive out there into left center field.
having trouble with his spikes on that mound tonight. 1-2. The Cubs with a run in each of the last 3 innings. And they've taken advantage of a couple of Houston errors. That's out number 1. It's the second strikeout for Brian Moeller. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Cecil Cooper is going to head out to the mound. And he's going to ask for Sammy Gervasio, a right-hander, to face Soriano. First and third, 1 out, a run in. And the Cubs leading 3-0. There's rookie righty Sammy Gervasio. Has not allowed a run in 9 of his 10 career major league games. Got his first win on August 19th against the Florida Marlins. Two stints with the Astros this season. A good ERA, 2.87 and 267 career appearances in the minors.
Now, Baseball America rated his slider the best in the Astros organization before the season started this year. Sure, we'll see some of those.
Well, he really whips it in there, doesn't he?
The front side really flies open. His stride, rather than being directly toward home plate, is a little bit to the first base side of the mound. Really opens up wide.
From the Dominican Republic, from Sabana de la Mar, and signed in 2002. 24 years old. The kick, the pitch. There's the slider, an 86. A power slider. It's outside, 1-1. Well, his setup looks a lot like Jose Valverde's. Got that high set position with his hands.
Well, from our Southwest Skycam, I'll tell you, everything just kind of drifts toward the first base side. He's wide open as he releases the pitch. That's something that Larry Rothschild was talking about with Carlos Zambrano in his last start, opening up a little too quickly, giving that hitter a real good look at the pitch.
Swing and a miss on the slider, 2-2.
A lot of times you'll see a young arm come up through a minor league system, and you don't mess with them as long as they're getting guys out. Carlos Marmol's a perfect example. He had some mechanical issues with his delivery that he's ironed out as the season has gone on, but as long as he's getting people out, you leave him alone.
Well, the last 3 sliders, 86, 87, and now 88. There's the closer, Valverde. The kick, the 2-2, struck him out. Is that another slider?
Yep.
90 that time.
I guess Baseball America was right on the money with this kid. That slider is wicked. I mean, when you can throw a pitch that moves that much with the same velocity that most pitchers throw their fastball, it's going to be tough to make contact, let alone square it up.
Foul tip strike to Baker. That was some good heat at 95. Well, we saw a guy with really good stuff earlier this year, Bud Norris, who is now in the Astros rotation, and after a really good start he has struggled lately, and sounds like they may skip his next turn through the rotation because he's already reached a career high in innings pitched. Well, the combination, Bob, of really good stuff and strike throwing, particularly right off the bat, you can be really effective because hitters have not seen you before. And they often say the pitcher has that first advantage until they get to know you.
And as you said, if he's throwing strikes, he's getting ahead in the count, then they can expand the zone. But if you have good stuff and no command, it's a whole different story, or bad stuff and great command. The factories of the world are filled with guys who could throw really, really hard in the minor leagues, but had no idea where it was going.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Blew it right past him. So Gervasio impressive. It's 3-0, however. Cubs with a lead after 6.
We all had a real good time. That's tonight's Bud Light Fan Cam with just the right taste that never fills you up. The difference is drinkability.
Good choice.
Like that.
The 0-1 to Hunter Pence. Rollover grounder foul.
Don't remember how I got this way. I don't recall what happened yesterday. Been there.
Blackhawks captain Jonathan Taves will conduct the 7th inning stretch. Looking forward to that. Nobody swings a bat quite like Hunter Pence, even a warm-up swing. Look out. 2-2.
Maybe not quite as close as Hunter Pence made it look. Definitely fastball up and in. But you can't blame a guy for getting his head out of the way of a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
All right.
I needed that.
Come on.
Yes.
Got him. Yeah, 5-3. Put out. Needed that on our bingo card.
Had to wait till the 7th inning to get a 5-3 put out at first base. Nice play at the very end by Derek Lee, stretching out toward right field. Picking that ball out of the dirt, keeping his foot on the bag just ahead of Hunter Pence, who was really busting it down that first baseline.
Ball 1 to Matsui. No fair. He has 2 cards. Line in the left base hit. All the hits for Houston, 7 of them have been singles. Yeah. There's Coast. Runner goes, throw to second. It's away, and Matsui's going to head to third and get there easily. A stolen base and an error on Jeff Baker.
Looked like Coy didn't have a great grip on that baseball. Still got rid of it quickly, but Baker just let it tip off the webbing of his glove, allowing Matsui to jump to his feet and advance on to third base with 1 out here in the inning.
Runner slides in the 7th inning or later.
Got that.
Check that one off the bingo card. The 1-0 pitch is a strike. Definitely a slide. Ground ball. Matsui is going to try to score on a bobble by Ramirez, who may have taken his eye off, but he still gets the out at first. Boy, fortunately for the Cubs, the catcher was running. That'll be an RBI ground out. It
looked like Ramirez maybe was caught in between whether to throw home to get Matsui. You could see he looked up at the last instant. That caused him to drop the baseball, but fortunately had enough time to recover and get the slow-footed coast at first base.
So the base is cleared. It's 3-1, and Jason Michaels will hit for Gervasio. Went 2/3 of an inning and struck out both guys he faced. That's the first run they've scored all year against Randy Wells in their 21st inning against him. Guzman and Grable are up in the bullpen. Able to hold up, says Laz Diaz. Michaels hitting .340 since July 5th. He was hitting .171 through July 4th. Big rip at a 3-1 pitch. Now it's full 3-2.
Yeah, Jason Michaels, the right-handed part of the pinch hit platoon, along with Darren Erstadt, the left-handed hitter. They both have 47 pinch hit at bats on the season. They both have 11 base hits.
Three-two pitch, ball 4, and the tying run will come up. Here comes the manager. And he might double switch. He is going to, with a pitcher spot due up second in the bottom of the inning. Sam Foltz coming in. Soriano's coming out. And it's going to be John Grable against Michael Bourne when we come back. Cubs 3, Astros 1. Good hand for Michael Bourne, runner at first, 2 outs, called strike on a heater. Bourne perfect 3 for 3. Fulled into play left and bat ninth. So Soriano is out. John's done a really nice job so far with the Cubs. That pitch didn't break. Back Bourne off the plate. 15 straight scoreless relief appearances to start his Cubs career. It's a franchise record. Stay tuned. The WGN News follows our broadcast. Up in the air, Bradley comes in, and Milton with a catch. Jonathan Taves will lead the 7th inning stretch.
Tonight's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game is Chicago Blackhawks captain Jonathan Taves.
All right, Cubs and Hawks fans, let me hear you loud and clear. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with a crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root, root, root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 straight, you're out at the old ball game. Let's go, Cubbies, finish them up, boys.
At the UC, and our 7th inning stretch guest scored 4 goals. He only got credit for 3, but had the hat trick twice. Jonathan Taves throwing out the first pitch, and got a great hand and fired a strike to a former excellent high school hockey player up in Wisconsin, Justin Berg. Mega Millions can find you every Tuesday and Friday. Mega Millions, have fun responsibly. Jonathan, that was one of the many great moments this year. Thanks for the sign.
Well, you know what? It's my pleasure. As you can tell, I got more than enough hats. So, you guys, if you want more, let me know.
Now we know where they end up when they throw them on the ice.
Exactly.
Right-hander Jeff Fulcino is on for the Astros against Coy Hill. I'm trying to remember why the goal was disallowed. It just didn't cross the line, or
no? I guess they ruled it a high stick.
Oh, that's right.
You know, I think, in my biased opinion, it was still a goal. But important thing is, we got two showers of hats that night, so I think that might be another reason why we have so many of these hard hats. So.
Yeah, that was quite a night, and there were many quite like it throughout the season and well into the playoffs. My ears hurt many nights walking out of that building. It was such a great atmosphere.
That was incredible. You're right. Felt like it got better every single game last year, and I mean, it went to a whole new level with the ovation with the national anthem at the start of the game and even the playoffs. It was incredible. So it definitely helped us pick our game up a few nights, that's for sure.
Called strike 3 to start the inning. Bob, did you notice it was a hockey term, a hockey word that he used right at the end of the 7th inning stretch? I think he said, "Bring it home, boys." That's a hockey term, right? Boys, come on, boys.
I think so.
That's what everybody says on the bench.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't know what it would be like to be in a baseball locker room, but it can't be that much different. So.
No, it's a clubhouse in baseball. We've gone through this before.
Right,
Dressing room. You guys have sweaters. They have
a lot of
jerseys here.
terms.
Yeah, it works though. 1-0 to Sam Fold. There's a Hawks fan right there. Probably has a nice Jonathan Toews autograph on it. So you know you've arrived, Jonathan, when everybody's now getting the last name right for the most part.
It took a while, but they're getting it now, so it's got to be a good thing. I'll take it.
If my math is correct, you're the third youngest captain in the history of the NHL. Boy, that seems like an awful lot of pressure. How do you handle something like that?
Yeah, you know what, Bob? It's not ever easy. I don't think it'll ever will be. But you try and learn as much as you can every day, and you know, as a captain and a leader, you never pretend to know everything. So the bottom line is we have a lot of great young leaders in our locker room as well that kind of helped me out with everything, and it's been a lot of fun. It's not a pressure situation. I just go out there and enjoy the game every day and be myself. And again, I'm learning to find myself as a captain as well.
2-1 to Sam Fuld. We're with Jonathan Toews from the Blackhawks. They begin training camp coming up about a week and a half. And you can catch Blackhawks hockey on WGN Chicago. 2 outs. Yeah, there's a huge responsibility. I mean, the great thing about hockey, well, that C, when you put it on that sweater, it really carries a lot of meaning, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same for any captain or even any captain that's played for the Hawks before. I think you kind of honor that and honor what they've done before. And you know, a lot of it's just about respect and watching what you say and what you do, and especially in the locker room, the guys pay attention to that. So you know, it's definitely a full-time job. It doesn't stop when you leave the rink every day.
Terrio hits a ground ball to the second baseman, Matsui. Jonathan Toews, always a pleasure. We look forward to watching the Blackhawks, cheering them on all season. You guys are going to have a great year once again.
All right, well, it's great talking to you, Len. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Bob.
Toews for stopping by. What a nice young man. Boy, he's a tough cookie on the ice, too. Yeah, he was 20 years old when he was named the captain. The 1-0 pitch from Graybo is outside. 2-0 on Miguel Tejada. Tight one here tonight. Cubs lead 3-1 in the 8th.
That's another difference between hockey and baseball. I mean, there are a few baseball teams that have named captains. Jason Varitek with the Boston Red Sox comes to mind immediately.
Derek Jeter, Paul Konerko.
Yeah, some guys, you know, are the unofficial captain of certain ball clubs, but as far as actually naming a player the captain and putting the C on his jersey, it just doesn't happen often in baseball.
Hockey players take that very, very seriously. 3-2, key batter for Graybo, because you have Berkman and Lee coming up, guys who certainly could tie it up with one swing. Popped up, foul territory, and back to the seats. One of the 36,332 in attendance taking that one home. Yorman Bazardo up in the Astros pen. Inside, ball 4. Leadoff walks generally are not good. Hey, podcast fans, Bob and I recorded a new podcast. It's up for viewing. Download it on WGNTV.com. Click on the sports header, look for the link, click, download, and as always, enjoy. One strike to Lance Berkman. Dribbled foul. 0-2. Lee on deck. Boy, Graybo would love a double play here. Instead, he gets a pop-up, and it's D. Lee. It's not on your pocket schedule, but it's a big one. The White Sox and Cubs are going to play an interleague game. It's a makeup from a rainout in mid-June, and we'll have it for you right here on WGN. 1 o'clock Central for the leadoff man on Thursday. Rookie right-hander Carlos Torres will make just his 3rd major league start. Ryan Dempster will go for the Cubs. Again, 1 o'clock Central as a crosstown series goes into September. Two teams that have been fading lately, trying to get back into their respective playoff races. So John Graybo is out, and Kevin Gregg, now setting up for Carlos Marmol, is in. 3-1 Cubs. Pelsa, Micah Mater with all the news. Tom Skilling will have the weather, and Dan Roan with the sports. I saw you chatting with Dan before the game. What did he want to know?
Well,
What could you possibly tell him that he doesn't know?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Dan doesn't really want to know anything because he already knows it all, but he was just asking me to confirm his knowledge.
Got it. Here's Kevin Gregg in a setup role facing Carlos Lee with Tejada at first and 1 out in the 8th. Slider missing low and outside. Lee 3 for 10 with a homer and 2 strikeouts against Kevin Gregg. The pitch floated foul, 1-1. The situation comes up more often than you'd think. While Marmol has surpassed Gregg on the Cubs depth chart in the bullpen, this could be viewed as a higher leverage situation. Tying run at the plate and the guy who does all this damage against the Cubs. So if Kevin Gregg does his job here in the 8th, Marmol will have an easier 9th. But that's only on paper. 3-1.
That's why managers like to have at least 2, sometimes as many as 3 guys that are capable of filling that 9th inning closer role, but even more importantly, getting out of those jams in the 7th and 8th inning. I mean, a lot of times a save in the 9th, you come in with nobody on base, you start an inning fresh. In the 7th and 8th inning, a lot of times you're coming in with runners on base facing the tying or go-ahead run. Good cutter just off the outside corner there for the swing and foul.
See if they'll send Tejada. Yep, he's running, and that's high and deep, but not deep enough. And maybe got in on him just a little bit, and Lee flies out to Fukudome. 2 down.
Had a good trajectory off the bat for Carlos Lee, but I think you're right, Len. I think it got down near the trademark just enough that he didn't get the kind of carry that we saw in his home run last night to very nearly the same area of the ballpark.
Now Jeff Blum, who's come up with some big hits against the Cubs. Strike 1 on him. Game-ending RBI hits in back-to-back games in Houston in June against the Cubs. Then hit a game-winning homer here on July 28th. 1-1. Day game tomorrow, then the makeup contest against the White Sox Thursday, after which the Cubs will head off to Citi Field in New York, 1-2. There goes the bat almost into their dugout. So final in Philadelphia, the Phillies beat the Giants 1-0. Cole Hamels win all the way. 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, and 118 pitches to improve to 8-8. Outside. So the Rockies with a good chance to go up by a game again in the wild card. They lead 7-2 over the Mets in the 5th at Coors Field. Jason Giambi brought up by the Rockies. So he's on their roster. Blum swings and misses, and that's the inning. So Kevin Gregg does a nice job. He gets Lee and then Blum to get out of it. Bottom 8, Cubs try to add on to the 3-1 lead. Cubs 3, Astros 1, last of the 8th. Jeff Fulcino with a 1-2-3 7th, facing Milton Bradley, who's 2 for 3. Go ahead homer, a single, and 2 runs. And he lines hard to Tejada.
Time now to take a look at tonight's AM/PM player of the game. Just about every time he takes the mound, he wins our AM/PM player of the game. It's Randy Wells, looking to go into double digits in victories on the season. The first Cubs pitcher to do so if they can hang on and win this ball game. Our AM/PM player of the game, Randy Wells. Too much good stuff.
Lee is 0 for 3, reached on an error. Last time up, that glances off the glove of Jeff Blum for a base hit. Trying to make it a double. Safe, he got in. And that's the first double of the night for either team. All I had to do is look at my blank bingo card to know that. Nice hustle by Derek for his 30th two-base hit.
Boy, just a rocket off the bat. It just tipped the webbing of Jeff Blum's glove and rolled out there into shallow left field. El Caballo was playing with his back against the ivy, had a long run. Tries to throw off balance to get D. Lee at second base, but he's in underneath the tag by Kaz Matsui.
Well, Ramos with an RBI single his last time up.
I'll tell you, it seems like a simple thing, Len, but did you notice a slide by Derek Lee? The front foot extended. When he hit the bag, that stopped his momentum. Boy, so many times we see guys sliding over the base. They're banging off the bag with their back leg, rolling around in the dirt. That was a perfect slide right there to get to the bag as quickly as possible. Extend that front foot, reach out for the base, and when your foot hits the base, that should help you pop right up out of the slide. He got in underneath the tag. Nicely done.
The kick and the 1-1. Just on a slider. A few minor league notes to pass along. Congrats to Mitch Atkins, a righty we saw earlier in the big leagues, the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Week for Iowa. Double-A Tennessee, they're tied for first with, I believe, 6 to go in the North Division of the Southern League. Tyler Colvin, red hot with a 16-game hitting streak. Swing and a miss, 2-2. And Ryan Sandberg got into it with Hector De La Cruz, the Mobile manager, after a couple of beatings in their game last night, and Rhino eventually got ejected for the 7th time this year. Congrats to the Peoria Chiefs. They clinched the second half Western Division crown. It gets by, and Lee will end up at third on a wild pitch.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Gets right through Chris Coast all the way to the backstop, allowing D. Lee to advance. Also, the Daytona Cubs. Congratulations to Robinson Chirinos and Starlin Castro, both named Florida State League postseason All-Stars.
Infield in. Trickled foul. Also, Hak-Ju Lee and Jose Valdez, Northwest League All-Stars for the Boise Hawks. Fulcino ready for another 3-2. And he walked him. Fukudome will dig in. Cecil Cooper ponders what he might be able to do to try to pull this one out. His team trails by 2, and the Cubs are trying to add on. Micah Hoffpower back from AAA, and he's on deck.
Micah Hoffpower last night 1 for 3 with a home run for the Cubs.
Astros are double play depth on their infield. They give Kosuke a lot of room in the outfield in right center. And he pulls it down the right field line into the corner. Lee's going to score easily. Ramirez on his way to third. Mike Quaddy's going to send him. Fukudome on his way to third. Throw to the plate. And plenty of time as Ramirez did not leave his feet and is tagged out. That goes 9-4-2 to get Ramirez. Lee scores on the RBI hit.
Kosuke finally got a pitch from the middle of the plate in that he could turn on, and he buggy whipped it down into that right field corner. Perfectly executed relay by the Astros, and Ramirez pretty much concedes that out at home plate right there.
We have a controversy in the press box.
Uh-oh.
No, it was called a double. I thought Kosuke might be credited with a triple, which would certainly help out a lot of bingo cards. But
I was hoping that ball would get caught in the ivy down there.
Swing and a miss by Hoffpower. Let's give Bob Rosenberg another look at it. Somebody's hungry.
Kosuke going hard. Watch him drop that inside shoulder when he makes the turn around the bases. That really helps get your body lined up to the next base. I'm going to be given credit for a double, but I think he was thinking triple all the way.
I know I was.
Me too.
The 3-1 to Hoffpower, swung on and missed. Last time Hoffpower was here, he was with the Iowa Cubs. The road to Wrigley. 3-2, ball 4. We are email accessible. LennonBob at ChicagoNow.com. You can tweet us, Twitter.com/LennonBob. Louis Robinson out. Nobody up in their bullpen.
I think I have that on my bingo card. Len mentions ChicagoNow.com.
Well, this is a nice giveaway. It kind of keeps everybody in the action. With that double by Kosuke, I have another check mark. Total hits 15 or more. Cubs with 8, Astros with 7. Wouldn't mind if they intentionally walk Jeff Baker. Knock off 2, bases loaded, and an intentional walk. But I think you're right. The key one's the fair ball getting caught in the ivy. That's going to keep a lot of people from getting that bingo.
But from the looks of it, not everybody has that one on their card. Every card is a little bit different, I think, from what I'm hearing.
Yes, that is true. I think that one's on a lot of them.
I haven't heard anybody scream bingo yet.
He's back 2-1.
Do we stop the game and check their card if somebody yells bingo?
Yeah. Tell everybody on the field to stop. There are 51 different events that can occur tonight to help the players. I'm talking bingo players. Tim Burdack getting loose quickly. That's a strike. Baker didn't think so. I'll tell you what, Chris Coast really had to reach for that pitch. Normally when a catcher has to reach for a pitch, he does not get the call. Look at that. Fly ball to center. Bourne going back on it, and he'll get there to end the inning. Cubs have put up single runs in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and now again in the 8th as Marmol will try to close them out in the 9th. Cubs 4, Astros 1. Kosuke Fukudome with an RBI double to add some insurance. And now it's a closer, Marmol. Pence, Matsui, and Coast are the scheduled hitters.
Hunter Pence 1 for 10 lifetime against Carlos Marmol with 5 strikeouts. Kaz Matsui is 1 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. And Chris Coast 0 for 2. Punched out both times.
Here we go. Pence couldn't hold up. Wow. That pitch was nowhere near the strike zone, but Pence couldn't help himself. Matt Holliday with a go-ahead 3-run homer in the 7th, and the Cardinals lead the Brewers 7-4 in the 8th. Cardinals act like they don't want to ever lose again. They intentionally walked Albert Pujols, and then Holliday hit the home run. Pick your poison. base hit. That's a mistake there. Boy, Marmol had the upper hand big time. Looked like Pence had no chance in the first 2 pitches, but on a 1-2, he singles into center.
A location more than anything else. Watch where this pitch ends up, inside corner, and Hunter Pence is one of those bail and wail kind of a hitters. He steps in the bucket, looks to pull the ball from the middle of the plate in. Anything from the middle of the plate away gives him a lot of trouble, especially breaking balls, but that time Marmol left a fastball in the inside corner, and Pence with a soft single into center.
First pitch strike to Matsui. Coast on deck. Marmol's 0-2 is grounded foul. If the Cubs hold on tonight, it would be their 10th win against the Astros. Be their 4th 10-win season against Houston. That's the first out, a strikeout of Matsui.
Boy, that's the nice tight slider that he's able to keep in the strike zone right there. Occasionally he'll get his hand around the side of the baseball, and it's a big sweeping slider. That was the one with the tight rotation that looks very much like a fastball when it leaves his hand.
Front door slider missed to Coast. Well, he's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Jeff Keppinger is on deck. Astros need one more base runner to put the potential tying run at the plate. 1-1. Chance for Tampa Bay to get back in that wild card race. They started their series against Boston down 5 games and in 3rd place, but they trail 7-4 in the top of the 9th to the Red Sox. The 3-1 slider, strike 2. Strike 3. Slight hesitation on a call by Chuck Merriweather, but no argument from Coast.
It came on a high slider, just below the belt on the outside corner. We saw the high strike called an inning ago on Jeff Baker on a fastball. That time the high slider gets a called strike.
Jeff Keppinger. He hits for Fulcino. Fastball to 97 off the plate outside. Runner goes, called strike, no throw. And Pence not credited with a stolen base. A 1-2 on the way, and Keppinger pokes it foul. ball, strike three, throws him on a fastball. Cubs win 4-1 the final. So a chance to win the series tomorrow. They've evened up their record on the homestand, 4-4. And Randy Wells with his 10th win of the season. Time to sing.